Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. Here's a bunch of mega fans of Brandon Sanderson bringing you the news, discussion, and of course, a whole lot of opinions on Brandon's work. Today I'm joined with Ben.
Hey guys, I'm Overlord Jebus on the forums.
Hey, and I'm Chaos, and...
Yeah, it's just the two of us today, isn't it?
It's just the two of us! Because Ian was gonna come on until, a storm knocked out his power. So, That's what happened. So, today, we have you on the show, Ben.
Yes.
Because you went to Emerald City Comic-Con.
I did. I had a great time. There was lots of Brandon there.
Yes, you did get to encounter much Brandon and lots of things. You... played the VR experience.
Yeah.
And got a lot of info too. So that's what we wanted to talk about today. And let's start with the VR experience.
Okay.
So tell me about that.
Okay. Quickly, before I get into it, I just want to thank Kara for, getting me in on all the few days for the con.
Kara is great. Kara is great.
Kara is Brandon's assistant and the one in charge of the store. And she's
also
fantastic.
Isaac's wife.
Also Isaac's wife, yes.
Yes.
And she got me in so that I could record the 3 days for the WoBs that we were going to get into. But anyway, back to the VR experience. So when I got there, Ewan was there, who you interviewed. Eric.
Oh, he was actually there. Cool.
Yeah, he was actually there. Yeah, I was chatting away with him.
Sweet.
Yeah. And as soon as he saw my 17th Shard badge, and he was like, "Oh, 17th Shard." I was like, "Yeah, you knew Eric." Yeah, and he goes, "Yeah."
Oh,
anyway.
That's cool. Yeah. I didn't know who all would have been there from Arcturus. So
there was only the two of them. There was Ewan and I cannot remember the name of the second guy. Unfortunately, I think he liked a post I made on Twitter about the experience. Anyway, so I gave it a go. Before going to preface this by saying I didn't pay for it, so that may have colored my experience because I know a few people have already complained that it's not worth the money they paid for it because it's about...
We can talk about the price. I mean, I don't know how much VR experiences cost, so...
No. I don't think you normally get VR. I think they normally come as games, and normally they're a bit longer than 20 minutes.
No, there's a lot of pretty short VR experiences from what I know. Like, there's a lot of this sort of stuff. Yeah, and I think it's just more expensive because there's not a big market share for VR. Yeah, really. So you can't sell it for $1 or anything. Yeah, right.
You've got to mark it up a little bit for the.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So you start off and you're chained to a bridge, and it is one of the bridges as described, as drawn by I think Isaac posted on Reddit once.
Probably
a nice little pit diagram.
Or Ben McSweeney. Maybe. Yeah, probably. Not you, Ben, but Ben McSweeney. Yeah.
And so you start off chained with that, with a big high storm coming towards you, which is fantastic.
Is it pretty crazy in VR?
I really liked that. It was you've got chains on your wrists, and you're looking up, and there's just this huge storm wall above you, and to all sides of you, and then you look behind you, and it's the Shattered Plains. It is the Shattered Plains behind you. It's flat, it's rocky, it's craggy, it's very cool. And so you get spoilers for the VR experience if you don't want to get it spoiled for you.
What? Crazy. Talking about the VR experience. Yeah, you will. I mean, if you listen to our interview, Ewan basically told us all what was in it. So you already know, but
surprises. Yeah. Oh, actually no, there was one or two surprises.
Did you meet the Chul?
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll get onto that in a second.
Okay, all right, great, cool, great. Sorry,
So you get knocked down, and then you fall into the chasm, and then when you get into the chasm, it is, you look up, and I got immediately a sense of vertigo, because you're never supposed to look directly up when you're playing VR experiences.
Oh, yeah.
But you look up, and it's you're in a chasm, it's all dripping wet, it's all It's great. It feels like you're at the bottom of a chasm. There's what's it called? What's glowy plants called? They're there's that glow to them.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's just skip that part.
Okay.
Let's just cut that part.
So there's all
Ian would know, but I don't remember what they're called.
There's loads of plants around you with that glow to them. There's you walking along. There's a couple of kremlings crawling about, which I was very happy to see. So they're just like little cockroaches and like little mantises and stuff like that. It was cute little things.
Nice.
And then you get to meet Syl, and Syl's great. Like yeah, I was really happy with Syl. She comes flying down. She tells you it's obviously not the way that it happens in the book, but she introduces herself as if you've never met her.
Yeah.
I know she's brand new, and like this is all suddenly happening to you.
Right.
She was great. She tells you how lashing works, so you got to lash yourself through some rocks in order to get to the rest of the chasm.
Did she look good? Because I don't know, on the trailer I don't know. Seeing these things visually, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what picture I had in my brain, but it wasn't quite this. And Syl was kind of that for me.
I had no issues with her. Like she looks exactly like she just looked like like a girl. Like this is kind of what she was supposed to be. Just like, yeah. And you lash yourself. You lash some rocks, and the lashing. Although a lot of people complained that it kind of just looks like telekinesis.
Right.
But I can honestly say, if I had to walk up to every single rock I had to lash and like touch it with my hand, that would have been a pain in the ass. I could completely understand why they allowed you to do it from range. And so, picking up rocks, immediately the first thing I did is I lashed it upwards because I wanted to see what happens. And like,
what happened?
And it just flew straight up and out of the chasm. And I was like,
all right. I'm kind of into that. That it just immediately just goes up like that.
Yeah, it doesn't act like a throw. I know a lot of people just say, "Oh, you're not lashing things; you're just throwing them." I'm like, no, you are lashing them to the direction you've lashed them in. When they hit something, they do immediately. It does immediately cancel the lashing, but it was cool to just pick a rock up, lash it upwards, and it just watch it disappear off into the sky.
All right. That's good. That's good.
So you come out of the chasm and you walk into like a little area where there's like 3 different chasms you can go and explore. So I explore down all the different routes. There's Syl's got the different lines she can play. The Chull is down one of the routes, and I will say, so Ewan during the interview made it sound like it was some secret Easter egg that is like, only some people find it, but like you walk out of the chasm you start in, and it's like right in front of you. I'm like,
okay.
I'm like,
so it's right in the golden path, basically.
It's right. It's like slightly to your right. You'd really have to not be paying. Well, it does start off in its shell, so it does just look like a boulder to begin with.
Okay.
So I guess
does the Chull look pretty Chully?
It looks exactly like I would expect from a Chull.
It wasn't in the trailer, so I don't know.
Yeah, it just looks exactly like how you'd expect a Chull, because we've had artwork of Chulls, so we know what they look like, and it was definitely a Chull. It didn't move much, it just kind of moves back and forth, but it was fine, it just walks around, he's having a great time. You know? We have to come up with a name for him, don't we? I thought it was Chully McChullface. Yeah. if I remember from the interview, I believe it's canonized to be Chully McChullface. Okay.
According to Carrie. I'll have you know.
Oh, man. But to me, he felt like a Derek, he did. You know, he really did.
That is not a Roshara name. Nor necessarily an Ashenite name.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if Ashenite is the correct...
I like Ashenite.
Yeah, I think that's good too, but I don't think it's the right demonym. There we go.
Demonym? Okay. Yeah. I did not know that word.
No. Demonym.
Yeah. So yeah, you're free to explore these chasms. I didn't really know. You don't really know where to go until you go down the right one. I'm going down to the end of one of the chasms, and it's getting really dark. And then all of a sudden, there's like a massive rustling noise and like movement above you, and the freaking what are they called? Chasm Fiend is like right above you and scuttles away. And I jumped out of my skin. I was like, oh my god. Like, I was not expecting it at all. Like,
that's cool. Yeah, so it's like, guess I'm not going that way.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, cool. I think I actually said that out loud. I was like, well, not going that way, and turn the hell around, because
they like know exactly what you just did.
Yeah, that scared the hell out of me. I'm not gonna lie. That was probably one of my favorite parts. And so you then go down the correct chasm, because Syl tells you to move small rocks.
Can't you like immediately wall walk, or could you not do that at this stage?
No, you've got to do a little combat tutorial first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where Syl turns into life-sized Parshendi illusions.
Oh, okay.
And you've got to... Yeah, it was a bit like, this is very video gamey right now.
All right.
And so then you've got to punch those. And my main complaint was with the punching. You've just got to flail your arms because they... you can see your hands in front of you, so you can see when your hands connect, and like
right, because you have the motion controller.
Yeah, you've got the motion controllers. Yeah, so you've got the two. It's the Oculus Rift with the two motion controllers, and so you hold down the finger buttons, which are kind of to make fists, and then you got to punch the Parshendi. But then every time, like I'd say maybe only about a third of my punches actually registered as punches. And
it wasn't too far away from the Parshendi, man.
No. Like my hands were going through the Parshendi, and I'm just like, this is fine. It's fine. Like, it's the only complaint I've got was that they could have improved the combat bit. So yeah, you punch some things, and then Syl's all like, "Hey, do you want to get out of here? Do you know you can lash yourself to things as well as rocks?"
Silladin shivers. Yeah, I would like to get out of here with you. Hey. So a different kind of VR experience, though. Anyway.
Hey. And, so she points you towards where there's some life spren. What does she call them? She calls them, like, sandling spren and...
What?
What does she call them? What's the big monster? Xanthid. She calls them Xanthid spren. And
what?
which was odd. Have you not even seen this? Yeah, she calls the life spren Xanthid spren.
Wait, that's I feel okay. All right, I feel like that's one of the things that we put on the wiki, is Xanthid spren.
Oh,
but
maybe
that's not the canonical thing.
Yeah, if they've pulled that from the Copper Mine, being like, let's get some cool sounding spren names.
Yeah. That's that's
like
us naming the Chasm Queen's friend. We don't know what they're called.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of assume anytime you see a flying, a little darting spren, I just assume it's a life spren. Like, oh wait, no, life spren are little green dots, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Oh. I guess we don't know what they are. What's that?
Wind spren?
No, what are the you know the big flying things in Shadesmar? What are those called? Oh, Lux Spren. Yeah. So Lux Spren. So yeah, they're Lux Spren flying around, and she calls them Xanthid Spren, which is, I guess they kind of just wanted to throw in another Stormlighty name to make fans go, ooh, they said a Stormlight word.
Yeah, we're not in the ocean, but Xanthid.
Yeah,
okay,
but
all right,
Xanthid,
great.
Syl, who doesn't know anything about the world, totally knows what a Xanthid is.
She does get to know lots of random things that you wouldn't expect. So
true, yeah. That is very true. She does remember these things off and on. And so essentially you've got a wall walk on this little trail of Lux Spren going up the side of the chasm. So you just kind of lash like you would lash a rock. You lash the wall, at which point you kind of hover for a bit and then you fall towards it, which can be disorientating, and it happens very slowly. You don't just like immediately fall. It doesn't immediately become down, because then you'd end up with your VR players throwing up.
Right.
Yeah, and so you kind of...
This is not realistic! Sorry. I don't want to, like, criticize people who are like, oh, this doesn't look realistic to the book, but
yeah,
when we get the full video game of something, it is not going to be exactly the same. Emotional allomancy will look different in a Mistborn video game. Pushing and pulling will work a little differently to make sense in a game, because we don't want to be too slavish to the books, because we want a good game and one that doesn't suck.
Yeah, like as they can represent it as best they can, but we understand when there's concessions.
Yeah, and you don't want your VR people to throw up.
Yeah, and so you kind of, when you lash yourself to the wall, you kind of float upwards, the world kind of tips on its side, and then you kind of land on the wall.
Okay, all right.
Which is cool. And then you can then climb, you then walk up the wall, and whilst I'm halfway up, I kind of took a moment to kind of look around with the opposite chasm as the roof, and
it was pretty cool.
The floor. It was pretty cool. I quite like that. And they've got like the little plants around you, and bioluminescent. That's the word I was looking for. You've got like all bioluminescent plants all around you, and later he told me you can actually lash those and they will react and close up, which is pretty cool. I kept going near plants, waiting for them to close up and go away, but none of them ever did. So I was like, But
I think they said that some are supposed to, but I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to find, because I listened to the interview that you did, and so I was looking for plants that closed up, but couldn't find any. So you climb to the top of the this plateau, and there's some Pashendi already up there chatting away. They're trying to crack open a gem heart, a chasm fiend chrysalis, to get to the gem heart.
Yeah,
and so you've got they're not aware of you to begin with. So my first reaction was to lash the Pashendi, and you can lash them, and you and you can just send them flying off into the sky.
Oh, all right.
And I was
that sounds like a very efficient way of dealing with them. Will they come back? Like, if you do that?
No, that kills them. If you throw them into each other, it kills the one that you threw, and then the one that you threw it at gets knocked over, and then they'll get back up. But the one you threw
who needs
doesn't.
punching mechanics? I don't need punching mechanics at all.
This is what happened in the end, because you've got to wait for your Stormlight to regenerate, because you just get a constant supply of it. But yeah, I did try to begin with, try punching them, and then you can block as well if you bring your fists up. Like, that was just, I've played VR games before, so I just did that naturally, and yeah, it worked.
Right.
And yeah, you can move around using the disc throwing mechanism, where you just use the pointers to point a kind of line in the ground, and then you teleport to wherever the line is.
Yeah.
So after failing to punch quite a few of them and getting myself nearly killed, because I think you can only take 2 or 3 hits from them before it kills you. So I just started teleporting around and lashing them to each other, and you can pick up their axes and their maces and lash those and hit them with each other, hit them with those as well.
Apparently you can hold the spear and fight with the spear.
If you can hold the spear, I did not work out how to do it. I feel like when he said you can fight with it, he means you can pick it up using the lashing and then throw it at someone. Well, that's what I think he means by that.
All right.
But who knows? There's at one point an archer joins in, and so you have to dodge their arrows as well as dodging the ones that are on the plateau with you, because you're on a very small plateau surrounded by other plateaus.
Okay.
And then, you do that for a few minutes. You kill probably like 10, 15 of them before the chasm fiend comes and smashes down, and all the Pashendi, they start attacking it, and it has a little health bar, and then you've got to pick up rocks and throw them at its face. But it's smashing its claws like right down in front of it, so you've got to kind of time it a bit right. You've got to position yourself, pick up the rock, throw it, and then get out of there real quick.
Okay, so there are some boss mechanics.
Yeah, it's like an actual boss fight. It was really fun.
All right.
It took me a second to realize you've got to hit it in its face, because I kept throwing them at it and hitting its claws and not doing it. Yeah, and so nothing happened.
What was it pretty big? Was it pretty scary?
It was pretty big and scary. Like, it was. I liked it. It was. It's been a while after I killed it, because you eventually kill it, and then but
then it's been a while.
Done, right? What's that?
Then it's done.
Oh no! You've got like a minute or two after that. Once you've I'll tell you about I'll finish off the boss fight.
All right.
I'll finish off the boss fight first. So you do that, and then the gem heart that they were trying to crack open the chrysalis, once you get it down to no health, comes in and starts glowing, and Sill's all like, that's just supercharged with Stormlight on that gem heart. You should go over there and use that power. And I'm like, okay. So you go in, and then you do actually touch the gem. This is the only time they actually make you touch something, other than the punching, which was rubbish. And so you've got to actually touch the gem, and then your hands get really glowy, and they get like super intensely glowing, which is cool. And you then got to pick up like a massive boulder from like the plateau nearby, and you throw that at the chasm fiend, and that's how you finish it off. And then it like has its death throes, and then once that's dead, the Pashendi are all like, we'll let you have this one, human, and they bugger off.
Neshwa Kadal.
Yeah. And
I say.
I think something like that. And then Sill's all like, whoa, Kaladin, yeah, you did it, woohoo! and then like glory spells start popping up around you. And
sweet.
Yeah, that was really cool. As soon as I noticed that, I was like, oh man, glory spren.
All right. Okay, that's pretty cool to like have spren pop up around you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like you actually feel, you feel elated at being the boss, and then someone's the glory spren, and that was another highlight of it, was having the glory spren pop about you when you beat the chasm fiend. I know, Ori, when he killed it, it's like lying dead on the side of the chasm, so I did double check inside of its mouth to see if it had all of its jaws, and there was a lot of teeth in there, so I think they did a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, that's it, and then that's the end of it.
Cool. Have you ever done VR before?
Yes, I've played a bit of the PSVR. I've done a bit of Resident Evil 7 and stuff like that. So
okay. I haven't played VR before, so knowing that you've done VR before and you enjoyed it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I don't really know because I haven't really looked. But I think there's a lot of different VR experiences that it's like you're exploring X thing, right?
Yeah,
that's like a pretty common VR thing.
I'd say so.
Like developers can like get used to the tech and stuff. Yeah, rather than make a full game.
Because that's the thing is it's what I think it's £10 on the Steam store, or $12 or something like that. Yeah,
I think it's $10.99 USD. So
that does feel a little high. Like it was definitely a good experience. I definitely would recommend it to any Stormlight Archive fans. But
who have a VR headset.
But
important.
But that price point might be a little high, and I completely understand if people don't are unhappy with what they get for that money. If they go expecting...
We're pretty used to like $28 being Oathbringer, and being, like the value per hour is pretty high.
Yeah.
like $17 ebook Oathbringer.
Yeah.
you get a lot more entertainment out of that than a movie, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I can completely understand why that's a sour point for people, and if people go in not expecting the concessions that they had to make in order to make the gameplay a bit more fluid, then they will be disappointed by that. And so it's like, I get all those complaints, but I still came away feeling very positive about it.
I do think it's important to realize it is a short experience, not a full game. And you're just trying to experience Roshar.
Yeah, and I think they captured it very, very well. Like looking out over the Shattered Plains, they looked exactly how I expected them to look, and I was very happy.
Okay,
with that. Yeah,
that's probably worth it. If a Chasm Fiend was cool, the High Storm was cool, and the Shattered Plains look cool, that's great. I thought the Parshendi looked a little weird from the trailer.
I don't like the design. They just kind of look like
tribal.
Just tribal.
They didn't look super Parshendi. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen so many different artistic interpretations of what the Parshendi look like. I'm kind of quite accepting of them not looking how I imagine them in my mind. Like some of my favorite pieces of artwork of Parshendi don't look anything like how I imagine them in my mind, but I still appreciate the effort put in.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So we have lots of words of Brandon from Emerald City Comic Con.
Yes.
And before we do that, though, just before we recorded, Brandon decided to really confuse everyone. Yeah. Really quick.
So there's a thread on Reddit on the Cosmid subreddit.
Yes.
And people are talking about conflicting word of Brandon's about Patji, about whether Patji is a shard or has one of this. Yeah.
Right. And as you were there at London, Ben, you learned, or Brandon just offered the information that Patji is a shard asterisk.
Yeah. And
so as you do.
So we've had clarification that, he then mentioned that Patji was mentioned, or that shard was mentioned in Oathbringer, and then you yourself got the word of Brandon that it was the second letter was from Autonomy, who was our main candidate for which shard Patji was associated with.
Right, being an avatar of that shard.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that letter mentions waters and, trials and stuff like that.
And we felt pretty good about it being an avatar of autonomy because it's like, oh, shard with an asterisk. All right, cool. That makes sense.
That makes sense to us. Like, the prevailing theory was autonomy visited First of the Sun at some point, left an avatar there who then became Patji and, went away without really
autonomy itself, but the avatar still being there. That's what we had assumed, being the island itself.
Yeah.
Do you want to read this or me?
I'll read this because.
All right. So the setup, basically, people are confused. Is it a shard? Is it this other thing? And
Brandon.
Basically, the issue is. There were previous words of Brandon that there were no shards on first.
Yes,
that was, which is an issue, right?
Yeah, he considers a minor shard world, and he has previously said minor shard worlds are defined by not having a shard and the interaction between the environment and the magic in the story,
right?
Which we'll get into. Yeah.
So Windrunning Mistborn, not to be confused with Windrunner, who's been on the podcast, asks Brandon to weigh in. Do you stand by each of your WoBs?
And then Brandon replies, I stand by them. Though as always, quotes and WoBs at signings aren't always as deliberately thought out as I'd like them to be. Answering questions on the fly can be challenging and my phrasing can be read in retrospect. But no shard was in residence on First of the Sun during the events of that story. The investiture on that planet is residue. Assuming means residual. Residual normal investiture from Adonasium.
Adenalcium. Oh my god. That's not how they go. All right, continue.
Everything happening there could happen with or without a shard present. Indeed, I would say that no shard was ever, and then in quotes, in residence on First of the Sun. That being called Patji still exists and is a shard of Adonasium. Shards in the past have been interested in First of the Sun and have meddled in small ways there. They're in brackets, like they have on a lot of shard worlds. Note that I might have been a little bit misleading in the first quote by bringing up Threnody, which is a real corner case in the Cosmere because of uncommon events there.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That said, I'm sure that every story I write about a planet will bring up the quirks and unusual interactions of the magic there, because that's kind of what I do. First of the Sun has its own oddities, as mentioned in Arcanum Unbounded. Every planet is likely to end up as its own corner case in some way, just like every person is distinctive in their own way and never fully fits expectations. I still consider one of the major dividing lines between major and minor shard worlds, other than a shard residence, to be in the strength of access to the magic and control over it. I intend the minor shard worlds to involve interactions with the magic as a setting. Coming back to Spren, you could have a minor shard world with people who use Befriend, even Bond Spren, or the local equivalent, Sion, AVR, etc. But you'd never see power on the level of the city of Elantris, the actions of a bondsmith, or even the broader power suite of a Mistborn. But, as ever, the Cosmere is work in progress. The needs of telling a great story trump things I've said about what I'm planning to do. I do try as much as I can to avoid having two texts contradict each other, and when they do, that's often a lapse on my part.
Okay, so first of all, it has been quite a while since we've actually had Brandon talk about minor and major shard worlds.
Yes.
It's actually been a long time, and I've advocated we not use those terms, but I guess we can still use terms, because Brandon's now just basically defining it.
Yeah.
But let's just read this. No shard was in residence on First of the Sun during the events of that story. The investiture on that planet is residue, normal investiture from Adenalcium. Everything happening there could happen with or without a shard present. No shard was ever in residence there. The being called Patji still exists and is a shard of Adenalcium.
And I just love it. He came in saying, hey guys, I'm just going to clear up this confusion by confusing things so much more.
I would just like to point out, we messaged this to a few people.
Yeah.
And on Discord. People who I would consider to be very astute with the Cosmere. And we're basically like, what?
Everyone, all the replies were just utter confusion.
So you, me, and Oversleep, we all reply to this comment, and of course, you get the reply.
Yes. I'll read my comment and then Brandon's reply. So I replied, Brandon, you've confused things so much more now. We thought we had a pretty good grasp on this whole Patji situation. Autonomy visited the planet at some point, got themselves all invested, and created an avatar which is called Patji by the locals. Now you're saying no Shard has ever visited there, and that the pool would have existed if no Shard had ever interfered, and that Patji still exists and is a Shard. Does that mean Autonomy edited First of the Sun from afar without actually going there, and that the pool would have already existed without any intervention? Does this mean it was associated with Autonomy from the beginning? I'm really confused now, because...
Alright. And Brandon says, I don't believe I said no Shard had visited. I said no Shard was there during the events of the story. Investiture on First of the Sun predates any Shards fiddling with it. Shards have fiddled with it by the time of the story. I think fandom might be going down too far a rabbit hole on this one. I disagree, Brandon.
This is your fault. We're going down this random. This is your fault.
You've made things confusing. We were all happy with this. But all right. So, no Shard was there on the time of the story.
Which is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I've edited my I've been thinking about this because this happened about like 10, 15 minutes before we started the video. And we've had a little bit of time to stew this over. A little bit. And I'm editing my theory a little bit to say that what I said still happened, except Autonomy didn't stay on First of the Sun long enough to become invested. Because it already was. As Brandon said, investiture on First of the Sun predates any Shards.
Hold up.
Okay.
Most planets are invested by the old Adenalcium magic.
Yes.
That's not special. That's not special.
Yeah.
I think it's more that...
Oh, no. I think he's saying that the island, the pool, the worms and the birds, that was there before the shattering. That's how I'm taking that.
That doesn't necessarily need to be the case.
I mean... Maybe the investiture was just there in some other form and Autonomy decided, hey, I'm going to make some crazy magic worms.
I don't think we can say that the perpendicularity was there since the shattering.
But then I don't think
prior to that.
If Brandon says that there was never a Shard in residence, in quote, whatever that means, I feel like that means he's saying there was no Shard there long enough to create a perpendicularity. Because I feel that's kind of... All
right.
Okay.
Let's... we got to piece apart... We're going to be here for like an hour. We're not going to get any Emerald City Comic-Con words of Brandon. We're just going to talk about this.
Yeah.
This is what this is. Yeah. Sorry. This title, it's a lie. In residence. All right. Let's think of examples of in residence. Honor and cultivation.
Yep.
Honor of Shar. That's in residence.
Yep.
Their investiture has permeated the entire planet.
Yes.
Not in residence. Odium on Cell. Odium was not in residence there. No, there's no evidence. No, there's no evidence that Odium invested on Cell. None.
Yes, I'm with you there.
Right. We this goes back from the very beginning that we only saw the influence of what that Shard did there way back, which was killing Devotion and Dominion. That's what it was. Okay. Autonomy could have come to the First of the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
And created this avatar using the latent Adenalcium investiture, and as we know from London, all of that investiture is automatically associated with a shard upon the shattering. That immediately happened. Like, all the Lego blocks became white, and then they all became 16 different colors.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? That's my analogy. So that's okay. I don't think that's like a problem. That doesn't... Autonomy could maybe make an avatar without permeating all of her magic on a place.
Yes.
Those are two different things, right? So that still could have happened. There's fiddling, okay? So and referenced in Oathbringer. So this could be said fiddling that once the Avatar was made, now maybe the Adonalsium investiture, like, imagine that was uniformly distributed.
Yeah.
But now autonomy was like grabbing the Play-Doh and shaped it a bit into the Avatar, right?
Okay.
And so now it's coalesced a little more and then creates perpendicularity. Boom.
Okay. My main issue with that was what he said with everything happening there could happen with or without a shard present. Oh, he doesn't say without a shard's interference. Okay, I was misreading that. Okay. So,
yeah, with or without a shard present.
Yes, in my head, I was reading that as without a shard doing anything, like never being present. Okay,
yeah, that's right. That is right. And however, there's a problem with this interpretation. The being called Patji still exists and is a shard of Adonalsium, but like he said in your quote that it was asterisk, big asterisk.
Yes.
So I don't think it's an actual shard of Adonalsium, but he's just saying that that Avatar does represent that shard of Adonalsium.
Yes.
Right?
And it
like,
is.
Which is somehow different from a splinter, so it's really great.
Yeah.
But we're going down a rabbit hole, Ben.
No, I know.
We're going down a rabbit hole.
His stubbornness on the wording.
This is confusing.
His stubbornness on the wording.
This is confusing.
Patji is a shard. Because he said that, answering questions on the fly can be challenging and my phrasing can be bad in retrospect. I specifically asked him, can you say that again? Because of what he said. I was like, are you sure you don't want to...
It is... Patji is a shard of Adonalsium.
Yes. Oh, unless he's simply talking about what it is that the locals worship. Unless he's talking about the entity that the locals call Patji and worship is autonomy, but autonomy isn't there. If that makes sense. So the being of Patji still exists because it's autonomy and it is Adonalsium. But then in my WoB, I specifically asked, is it the island? And he said, yes, Patji is the island. So it's all just autonomy, and Brandon words things horribly sometimes.
I'm like rubbing my forehead. Gotta do video podcasts because my brain hurts.
Yeah.
My spiritual aspect hurts, Ben.
Yeah.
I don't understand what is occurring. What?
Oh, it's
Rabbit hole.
Yeah. All right.
You're getting our raw reactions on this word of Brandon. No thought has been made here.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So shall we actually go on to what the opinion of this podcast?
No.
I'm
not
no. You
done.
want to stay? Okay, you're not done.
No, I'm not done because here's the thing: no shard was there during the events of the story.
Yes, but a shard had interfered.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, if and we know for Sixth of the Dusk is way future, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh god, yes,
this is further on than the letters would be.
Yeah.
Right? It'd have to be.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the question: if Patji, the island, is shard of Adonalsium or Avatar, I guess we're just kind of assuming because there's an asterisk, which Brandon said there was an asterisk on that, right?
Yeah.
This would imply that if we are terming that Avatar to be a shard of Adonalsium, that it is not there during the events of Sixth of the Dusk. Correct? That's what a common reading of that would be, right?
I see what you're saying. I was going to call it contradictory. If he's saying the island is Patji
this whole thing is contradictory and confusing.
If he's
it's
saying
all very confusing.
The island is Patji, which is a shard, then during the story there was a shard there because they were on the island, which is Patji, which is a shard. There wouldn't be a story if there was no shard, because if there's no shard, there'd be no island, which would mean there's no story.
I'm with you there.
Brandon, what are you on about? Brandon!
Okay. So... Right, because if it is the island, then it can't leave.
Yeah.
But I guess it did leave.
But I guess it did. Or... Brandon's really wording... I'm going more on the side of Brandon is wording this really, really badly. And annoying us on purpose because he likes to annoy us.
this is a man who's named Taln kind of situation here. This is a man who calls himself Taln. This is going to make sense eventually. And we're just going to be like, we have these like 5 WoBs that we're just, how do we reconcile them? We're going to get the answer, and it's just going to be like, that's that. Yeah, that's that. So,
cool.
All right. Him saying the being named called Patji still exists and is a shard of Adonalsium.
Yeah.
That suggests to me that the thing that is called Patji was also this extra thing, and that extra thing could leave, I guess.
I get
so
ya.
There's the island, and then there is the avatar that is calling itself Patji, or maybe not called Patji because it's being obtuse here, right?
Well, I'm wondering if this is a high storm and stormfather situation where the stormfather is the spren of the storm. But imagine if instead of the stormfather being a separate entity to the storm, they just called it the high storm. And then you'd have a spren of the high storm, also called high storm, which would make things really confusing. And so you've got an island called Patji, and then an entity called Patji, who is the avatar of autonomy.
Yeah.
I
think.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. Now, here's the thing with that. Well, the Stormfather can't just leave Roshar. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
But, an avatar is a little different, right?
Yeah, we don't know how they work.
Presumably... well, no, it's actually not a problem. It's not a problem. You know why it's not a problem? Because Autonomy didn't invest there. It's only a problem if the investiture is on the place, right? If the investiture is on...
Yeah.
Spren can't just leave... Roshar and Shadesmar, right?
Yeah.
Because they have honor and cultivation stuff and odium stuff maybe in them, right?
Yeah.
So if a shard never was like, yo, I'm investing my crap here, right?
Yeah.
Then that means that this is tinkered Adonalsium magic, or the part of that Adonalsium magic that was after the shattering associated with autonomy.
Yes.
Which autonomy could then use. And so autonomy never had to invest any additional power there. It was just already kind of autonomy, right?
Yeah.
So that could leave the system, right? All right?
I get what you're saying, but I'm not 100%.
I'm just confused how he could call Patji a shard, then say there's no shards at the time of there, even though the island is there, because it is, obviously. And so here's the question.
Yeah.
If that avatar left, then we come back to the story of, why is there perpendicularity there?
Yeah.
Because if it left... Then there's no coalesced investiture in, like, this spiritual humidity stuff that's causing this, like, hole through the realms to exist. Right?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I think we now have found something more confusing than void binding.
Yeah.
I think we're more confused. I think I'm actually more confused.
Yes.
I need a flowchart.
We need. I'm going to draw a picture, and it's going to be a doodle where it's got an island, and then an arrow pointing to Shard, and then an arrow pointing to minor Shard world, an arrow pointing to no Shard,
this is a
pointing
video.
to the island.
No, Ben, this is like a video.
Like a video.
We heard this, and this. Let's go through the possibilities in a flowchart style.
Yeah.
That would require a lot of editing and work.
Yeah. There's a reason my videos are mostly just my face, because I have no skill.
Right, exactly. Same, exactly.
Cool.
All this audio editing, terrible.
The audio is fine. Shall we move on to the Emerald City Comic-Con WoBs?
Yes. All right. So I guess we're just going to put Patji in the title, because we've been talking about that. I think, guys, we're gonna need to do this in multiple episodes. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because we're already kind of like 45 minutes into it.
Yeah, we are.
All right, guys. So what we're gonna do, because we know from our last podcast where we discussed Words of Brandon that took a while.
Yes.
So we're gonna cut this one in a little bit. So expect a cut. We'll get 2 weeks out of this, and that's what we're gonna do.
Sorted.
Yes.
Right.
And if we want to merge Ian in, we can just like do that.
Yeah.
If Ian's is just like a half hour, I don't think there's no way we are just doing like a half hour on Words of Brandon. We could easily get an hour in. So,
Did you want to start? Did you want to start with this one? With the first one?
So let's start with these Words of Brandon. We start with Greater Bookworm, who asks, what happens when you cut a Khandra with a Shard Blade? Brandon. So a Khandra is going to react basically the same way, in that a Shard Blade is going to be hitting at the soul and severing it and things like that. They're not immune to Shard Blades, but because they have mutable shapes, there will be a little bit of weirdness involved in that. You'll get to see that happen eventually. Oh.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of this WoB is that you'll get is the guarantee that we'll see this eventually. And so my reaction to this is that it makes perfect sense. I think the blade would kill whatever it hit. So if the Khandra was in human form and they sliced an arm, the arm would die, or just the very slip of the Khandra where it got hit would die. But then the Khandra could just move that dead flesh about. My second thought is that I kind of thought this might be something kind of similar to a Parshendi Gem Heart, where if you hit the spike while hitting a Khandra, that might cancel out the spike's effects because it might kill the flesh around the spike. So that's my thought.
Now hold up.
Yeah.
If you cut a hemalurgic spike with a Shard Blade.
Yeah. There will be pushback. He won't cut it as
nicely
because
it's invested. Because it's invested. Yeah. But you could.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
And if you cut it in half, that would probably cause a problem to the hemalurgic spike. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
It might not kill the spike because you can't kill a spike, but a Shard Blade is a very naughty weapon. And so it might maybe kill the spike. I don't know. It just feels right that hitting the spike with a Shard Blade would nullify the effects of that spike with the Khandra. No.
It doesn't. Well, we know that even if you melt the spike into multiple things, it would be degraded, but it wouldn't go away.
But melting is different to hitting with a Shard Blade.
That cuts in the spiritual realm. I mean, you're correct. You're correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine if you relied on that thing for sapience, like an Era 1 Kolos or a Khandra, that would be very bad.
Yes.
How about, that's what I'm going to go with.
By the way,
because a Khandra's soul is still distributed in there, so you're still going to kill the soul eventually. If you did like a Gordon Ramsay, like chop, you'd be, that Khandra would be not surviving that. Yeah, I'll go in the next one. I want to know if there was Stormlight before Honor. Brandon replies, so before Honor arrived, there was a proto version of the Storms and a version of Stormlight, yes. Question asks, okay, but it was different? Brandon says, things were different. And so that's kind of similar to what we know, because Aiden Alcium, there's actually another one where Aiden Alcium created the whole system of Roshar.
Yeah.
Not to spoil it or anything. But, if before they arrive, there's still this Aiden Alcium stuff. I'm gonna guess more Aiden Alcium stuff than on First of the Sun. Just gonna put that out there.
Presumably a little bit more. Yeah.
Hard to know. Hard to rate what Aiden Alcium did because we don't know anything about that. No idea.
Yeah, I wanted to include that one just because I wanted to firstly say, there was Stormlight before Honor arrived, and also that follow-up question saying, okay, but it was different. You can't give Brandon that much wiggle room.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
He just replied, yes, things were different, but he could be talking about how it was just a particularly hot day that Adenelsium was there. You know,
yeah, pro tip, don't ask, is this related to this? Because the answer is yeah, in a sense.
Yeah. This is also why I included the next one, which I'll let you read, Eric.
Yeah, all right. Questioner. He wanted to know if a pregnant woman took up one of the shards, one of the 16 shards, would the child born have any god powers? Brandon, it would have an effect.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'd hope so.
Well, your body vaporizes, so I'm gonna go with yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting question. I really liked this question. I would love to find out that one of the original vessels was pregnant. I'd love to find out what happened.
I don't know if I want to go into the realm of demigods and stuff or whatever that would be. But the weirdness there is that what would that be like in Ascension? You know, your body vaporizes, taking up the power. It doesn't die, it still exists, right? But that's just, like, what would your baby's spirit be or something?
Would it be vaporized? Would you be, like, fused together? Would you have, like, a fetus intelligence ball of investiture?
I don't know. Would your baby just be like a Stormfather spread thing?
God. Eric, we're getting really close to asking if fetuses have souls. I think we should...
Yeah, I think you're right. You are in America right now, Ben.
I am.
You gotta be very careful about this. But yeah, I don't know if I want to go into that can of worms. So time to move on to the next one.
I don't think Brandon would want to have that open that can of worms. So maybe we won't see that happen.
I mean, I wouldn't say that that's an invalid line of thought, because we know everything has a cognitive and spiritual aspect, right?
There you go.
So
easy.
Great. Let's move on.
Questioner, are you planning to make the Shard of Honor with Dalinar? No?
That's a poorly phrased question, I'll just point out.
Yes. Brandon replies, that's a Raffo. That's a read and find out. No answers for you.
Well, this is getting to the whole, is Unity a shard? And the answer obviously is a super ultra Raffo.
Yeah, like, you're asking essentially what is the ultimate plan for Dalinar's character and in Stormlight Archive in total, and that's definitely going to get Raffoed.
100%.
100%. It's good to ask, though. Good to ask, but don't ask it again.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing with Arcanum at wob.coppermine.net is you can know if the question has been asked. You can just search and see if it's been asked, and then you can ask something else. Silicary asks, can you make a hemalurgical spike out of harmonium, and what would it do? Brandon, yes, but Raffo, so half an answer and half a not answer.
Well, there you go.
So, I mean, harmonium explodes, so that would be difficult.
Yes. That's so. Firstly, I met Salazari, and she's lovely, lovely woman. Good. She asked some good questions. I think there's about 4 questions from her in here, and so you could. I'm with you there. You probably make the spike out of it due to it being part of the metallic arts system. And so you can make it's in my opinion, it's allomantic, it's ferrochemical, it's hemalurgic. But it explodes when touching water, and humans are really watery, so...
Theoretically, you could.
Practically
speaking...
Yes.
We will never see this in practice.
Yes. There's actually a question later on that relates to this a little bit as well.
Yes. Although I will say, for the record... For Ian, because he's not here, he would like to point out that he still hates the name harmonium. So I just thought I'd say that for him.
I like it. I think it works.
Why don't you do this next one?
Questioner, why is Kaladin so proficient, like naturally born to wield a spear? Is that a weapon he likes, or is it a destiny for him? Brandon says, so destiny is a strong term. I would say he has a natural aptitude but no more so than a normal person who has a natural aptitude for something. But the way the spiritual realm works in the Cosmere and the way that connection works, there were certain things that were happening to Kaladin before they happened. There's some inaudible words, but you can make out someone saying time and space. Brandon then says, it's like Syl says in the books, you didn't know me then, but I knew you then. Even though we hadn't met yet, I still knew you. You see some weird connection things too, and these are mostly just for fun, sort of Cosmere connections. Like when you see Syl take on the look of Shallan standing on the beach. There's going to be a connection there. It's forming. It doesn't exist yet, but all things are on the spiritual, or one in the spiritual realm, and we're just kind of seeing echoes of that. It's not meant to be destiny. It's just meant to be, hey, there's little connections happening. I would not say Kaladin is any more naturally gifted in that your average professional sports player is naturally gifted in what they do. So this is a bit of a funny one, this one, because he's essentially saying if you're good at something in the future, and you also become magic in the future, or maybe this is just a Radiant thing, maybe, that you become good at that stuff naturally before you were good at it.
I think he's more just going on a tangent on how stuff is related, just going off the word destiny, rather than talking about that being like, you're good at the spear in the future, so you're good at it in the past. That's not what he's saying. He's just, I think, just expounding on what like a Cosmere destiny would sort of be here.
I do feel like he is saying that part of the reason that Kaladin is good with the spear is because of he's good with the spear in the future. Like, he is saying there is some connection things going on there. Syl says, you didn't know me then, but I knew you then, because Syl, in the spiritual realm, everything is one. So Syl being connected, bonded with him in the future means Syl kind of is bonded with him in the past as well. And it's kind of all one thing. If there is a myriad of questions about free will and destiny in the Cosmere, I'm not super happy about this one. I would rather he just be like, yeah, he's just really good with a spear.
That's why I'm just going to use my interpretation and just not worry about it.
Okay, cool.
This is what I'm going to do.
This next
sweet. Yeah. If we're going in this order, I get to steal one of yours.
Perfect. No.
So Overlord Jebus said, who's that guy?
God.
What a weirdo.
He sounds really handsome.
Was just the continent of Roshar created by Aiden Alcium, or was the whole system created? Brandon, the whole system was created. So yes. As he said a little bit before.
Yeah. I asked this because it was actually a reply to one of my comments on Reddit that he said the continent was, the specific wording was the continent of Roshar was grown by Adonasium.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. There are so many people in the comments right now.
Yeah.
Just being like, these guys cannot pronounce Aiden Alcium correctly. And it's like, you're not pronouncing the letters in the order they appear in the word.
I don't need to pronounce the letters. It's Ado.
Look, as Brandon would say, there's no official pronunciation. Yeah. You can pronounce it however you want. Teravarangian. Just add more syllables. Why don't you? Sorry. Okay. So I just feel the need to voice the concern that is already one in the spiritual realm and in the comment section about the rage about you pronouncing Aiden Alcium. There's still are still a bunch of people like you should use short A. You're just putting an N. You're Adonalcium. Like, I don't even know what you're doing. I can't even replicate it. Like, we're not connected that much on the spiritual realm.
We're really not. This is complaints from the future affecting me in the past. Okay, so
really not.
Him saying that Adonalcium created Roshar, the continent of created the continent of Roshar. I then looked at the star map we got. We got 3 planets in the habitable zone. We've got 3 moons for Roshar, which are...
And 10 gas giants.
Yeah, and then the 10 gas giants. If you don't know anything about astronomy, 10 gas giants is really, really unstable. That is not a naturally occurring star system right there. And so that's why...
Well, even the moons are unstable.
Even the moons are... Yeah, there's no way those moons... Well, okay. I keep saying there's no way those things can naturally form, but the universe is really big, so maybe it could. But it's really, really, really hard for those things to be in a stable, like, condition.
Yeah. They're not. The moons are actually, if you didn't know, guys.
Yeah.
It's been calculated they'd only be stable in the scale of tens of thousands of years, and Brandon's like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he's like, that's
I got shards, it's fine.
Yeah. He's like, the cosmos is only going to be like 10,000 years anyway, so who cares?
Oh, it's more than that. It's more than that. We're definitely above 10,000 years of history.
Maybe.
Dude, Dude, if multiple people held the Well of Ascension...
Yeah, but
just think about that. That's 1,000 years each one.
3 is enough. And all of that could have happened in the time since the Recreants. Like, in my opinion, so I don't know.
Yeah,
my current timeline has it being like,
I think we're going to get
7 or 8,000
20,000 years, personally.
Okay. Maybe near the end.
Over 10.
I don't think we're over 10 just yet.
Well, I think in the whole Cosmere history, Era 4, we will surpass 10.
Okay, I'll give you that.
From the Shattering, or for whatever early history we have.
Yeah, from the Shattering, which
definitely
is
over 10.
Year 0 was the Shattering of Adonasium, I'll go with
Adonasium? No, it's because you don't have the L. Adonasium. You're pulling a Sazed.
Yeah? A Sazed.
You just got Sazed, bro.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
Next one. This was actually a follow-on where someone said, is that the center of the Cosmere? And Brandon said, no, there isn't a center of the Cosmere.
You are paraphrasing the exact things that we have written down.
Do you know, I'll just, because in between these two WoBs, there was someone else saying, is it the center of the Cosmere? By the way, I was obviously there for this. And then someone else, and then Brandon said no. And then the next question was, is there a center to the Cosmere?
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Judge Eric allows it.
Yeah.
There's also people in the comments very upset with me right now. Like, let Ben talk.
Okay, so Brandon then says there isn't a center of the Cosmere. I keep calling it a dwarf galaxy, but if I think they decided it's a cluster instead of a dwarf galaxy, I then said, yeah, even a dwarf galaxy is still really big, like billions of stars. And so Brandon said, yep, still too big, so we had to call it a cluster. Because we only wanted we came up with 50 or 100 stars, so it's a star cluster. It's a really dwarf galaxy.
Oh, okay. So we have an upper bound, 100 stars.
We have an upper bound.
100 stars, guys.
But it's not on the WoB because it's kind of irrelevant. But I then suggested it could be like one of the larger small Magellanic clouds, which are outside of the galaxy, because those are very small. Those would probably only contain like 50 to 100 stars, if any at all. Like, you know, that's the kind of structure we're talking about in the universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Despite my technical degree, I know like nothing formally about astronomy. So.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Oh, I'm a huge space nerd.
I never took an astronomy class, so yeah. All right, let's do this next one. Questioner, is there any effect on a shard blade if the Deadeye is really far away from where the blade is? Brandon, define really. Questioner, the one that's trapped on the ship. Let's say they're taking him to the far side of Shadesmar, but the dude that owns the blade lives in Inaudible. Brandon, we'll deal with that in the books. There is an effect, but that's not enough of an effect. And you say, considering no one says that their shard blade is acting weird in 2,500 years. Brandon, that happens all the time in Shadesmar. If you were able to get it off planet, it would have an effect. Questioner, if you as the owner of the shard blade were off-world and you tried to summon it, that would be the effect? Brandon, either way, but you can't take Spren off-world. I mean, you can, but you can't really. Really, all that I have in the notes for it to do right now is to add slightly more time. So you're like, that's weird that it felt like not 10 heartbeats, it felt like 12. But it's like, you're on another planet, then it's suddenly speed of light type stuff. So it's suddenly like, this is taking 3 years instead. That's a pretty big deal. So I've got a few weird speed of lights things mixed into the Cosmere, and that's one of them.
That's real interesting.
It is really interesting. Didn't you say there was another one? Is this included here, the one about the Oathgate teleportation is occurring at the speed of light. Did you include that one?
I can't remember if I included that one specifically, but there is one where he just talks about...
It just says that.
Yeah.
It just says
that Oathgates are at the speed of light,
Things through the cognitive realm can travel only as fast as the speed of light.
Yes.
Through Shadesmar.
But then space is compressed in the cognitive realm, which technically means it can travel faster than the speed of light. And he even acknowledged this. This is why we have weird, synchronicity stuff happening.
Right. So that's this here. So what I'm wondering, does the Deadeye, vanish when the owner summons it? Does it vanish in the cognitive realm?
I say we can't. I can't say for sure at the moment.
I have no idea, right?
What I think we can say is that if they did, they most likely return to where they were before they were summoned.
Whoa.
Because they talk about how that ship captain talks about locking up his father or grandfather. And so if that blade was summoned and it disappeared, they would then have to return to that cell, So I feel like they either don't disappear, or if they do, they return to the same point. Or maybe his grandfather was one of the thousands of missing blades, because there's there's thousands of missing blades in case you didn't know.
This is one of my main podcasts that I want to do, because this is very central. So if you guys don't know, there are many missing shard blades, right?
Yeah.
So at the Recreants, which was just Windrunners, but one part of the Windrunners.
Yeah, it wasn't even all the Windrunners.
What is it even all the Windrunners? Just the ones near Feverstone Keep and wherever the fighting was, right? They abandoned their blades, and Dalinar said that was more blades than they knew existed in all the world.
Yes. And that is one fraction of one order of blades.
Right. So, in other words, there are a crap load of missing blades. So I think the question of do the Deadeye, when the blades are summoned, when they're in the physical realm, are the Deadeye in the cognitive? That is a really important question. Because that's a really important question. So listeners, if you go see Brandon, ask that one.
That's a real good one,
And if not, I'm writing that down. I'm going to ask him today. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to have another podcast like this where Brandon confuses us about Patji, and we'll talk about that for 40 minutes.
He'll talk about...
We didn't talk...
No, we
didn't talk about it for 40 minutes.
It was like 20 or 30. It was a long time.
Yeah.
Cool.
But, so, on this one...
I'll take this one?
It is... No. Sorry. I'm still not done with
this
go
one, for it.
Because, it is kind of interesting. It does seem like the Deadeye would disappear, and it's summoned in the physical, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the implication that I'm getting.
Yeah, because...
But it is weird in that respect.
Because the thing is it can't... living Spren, Syl, they are in the physical realm. Yes. And so we can't really use them as something to go off, because the Deadeye is not in the physical realm. And so there's a different situation going on with living Spren to dead Spren. Yeah, because they're all looking for her. So if there was just a manifestation of her in the cognitive realm while she's hanging out with Kaladin, someone probably would have spotted that, I think.
That is weird. Yeah. You know what's even weirder? Do you remember the word of Brandon that someday we'll see what a hemallergic spike looks like as a cognitive realm?
Yes. Oh, man, remember that's going to be good.
That adds to that weirdness, right?
Yeah.
Where, there you're not summoning anything, right? Yeah.
Oh, man. So I can't wait to meet Nightblood. In the cognitive realm. Oh, my gosh.
Whoa. Hold the phone for a second. Well, wait. Hold up.
Okay. You're going to talk about
all right,
Vivenna's blade, aren't you?
This is right. You do not see Vivenna's blade look anything different than a blade in the cognitive realm.
Do we know if it talks? I can't remember if she ever talks.
We don't. We have no information.
Okay.
Listeners, if you want us to talk about Nightblood and Vivenna's sword, worry not. We are going to make a really long podcast about it, but we're scared because we need to do a lot of research.
Yes.
So we get it right. Yeah, but oh man, it really does depend if that blade does talk or not.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I imagine if it's awakened and is a shard blade, it does. I think it's just not
evil.
It doesn't have the extra stuff that makes it consume all investiture and want to consume everything.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. But then we don't know if that's what gave Nightblood the talkiness, the mind and the voice, the thing that makes it.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. It could, Vivenna's blade could just be like a dead shard blade.
Yeah,
that doesn't talk, right?
Yeah,
that could be the difference. It's just like a dead shard blade.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because she can't dismiss it, right?
Yeah, she can't dismiss it. She could just say, hey, it could just be as simple as she just got a normal sword and just said, hey, be as sharp as cut anything. Just be really sharp and cut everything.
I think there's a command.
Maybe.
There's a command. There's 100% a command. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
There's a command. Do we have anything else to add on this one?
I did find it strange. He talks about how you can summon it from another planet, but it will just take like 3 years to get summoned. I would have guessed that you wouldn't have been able to because you can't take a spren off of Roshar, but then you can take it off of Roshar in the physical realm. And,
well, what if? Well, just switch it around.
Yeah.
I'm a Rosharan. I have a blade. I went on a Scadrian spaceship and went to First of the Sun for some reason.
Yeah.
Sure, right?
Yeah.
Then I tried to summon my blade. Then it would take a long time.
Right? Yeah, so, that's what they're saying.
Right. That's kind of what I would think because you could probably leave that system because you're not a cognitive shadow, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It is really interesting. I had always thought that all that stuff was kind of stored in the spiritual, so it didn't matter, but clearly it does. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, in my Way of Kings theory, like, I always thought, like, the shard blades were just in the spiritual realm, and...
Yeah.
You know? But no, they're actually in the cognitive realm.
It's
they're not in the spiritual, like, at all, right?
Yeah.
Which is, like, an interesting, different way of thinking about it, right?
Yeah, because in my head, I'm kind of like, well, where do shard blades go when you dismiss them? I think, they go to the spiritual realm, but then...
Well, clearly not the case. Clearly not the case.
Yeah. Before we move on, 100%, if you the next person to see Brandon, please ask them if the dead eyes disappear from the cognitive realm when the shard blade is summoned.
Please do. And and if you don't meet Brandon soon, don't worry.
Yeah.
Because I will absolutely ask him that.
Yeah.
In May.
Yeah.
Where he's coming to my state.
Ooh.
Not my city, but my state.
Close enough. Yeah,
so we have... Oh, great. So we've gotten through 4 pages of our document. Great. Yeah. It's going really well.
Yeah.
But because the Stormfather smote Ian...
Yeah.
I do want him to talk about a few words of Brandon. And so... we also don't want everything to be like a 2.5-hour podcast. I like long podcasts, but some people don't. And we talked about Patji, so there you go. Yeah. There are a lot more words of Brandon going to come to you probably the next week. So we will see you all next time, where we will continue talking about these upcoming podcasts. Yep. We're definitely going to have White Sand Volume 2 coming towards you eventually.
Yes. There's no where's that cosmic character this week because there's only Ian to play.
No,
sorry, there's only Eric to play.
Yeah, I'm not Ian.
Yeah.
No, you give one to me.
Okay, cool. Right.
We should end with our new thing. Who's that Cosmere character?
Yeah.
Though we've recorded White Sand Volume 2, that one has not been posted yet.
Yeah.
Because you guys want the top tier words of Brandon as soon as possible. And this one, you're getting that Patji one real quick.
Yeah.
But
right, I'm not right. First, let's play the jingle. Woo!
That is still the best. Just like to point that out.
Okay. Right. So, listeners, are you ready? Eric, are you ready?
No, but that's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
I have my computer. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm not writing this down. I'm not getting paper down. Ben.
I like having pen and paper. Right. So, the first clue for this character. This character is a parent.
Hasina.
No. Okay.
I'm gonna keep guessing Hasina when relevant until I get it, okay? That's what I'm gonna do.
Clue number 2. This character is rumored to have strange powers. Any guesses, Eric?
No, okay, well, hold on a minute.
Okay.
Strange powers is pretty vague, Ben.
Yes, I worded this one very specifically.
All right, let's go to the next one. I don't know. I don't have a good one for this one.
Character number 3. This character does their work under a pseudonym.
Oh, crap.
I always like to make it so clue 3 should be enough information to really get it.
Why do I keep... I know this isn't that one, but I keep wanting to say it's that one parent Radiant from the Part 3 epigraphs in Oathbringer. I don't remember her name. I remember she was Thalen. I remember that, but I don't remember her kids' names. But I don't... She's not named. That's not my guess.
Okay.
No, that's not my guess. I know that's not right.
Okay.
Because that's way too esoteric. Does work under a pseudonym.
Listeners, there was a massive silence there while Eric thought, so I've cut that.
All right. God. I don't know. I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. Yeah. All right. Go to the next one.
This character is in debt.
In debt?
If you don't get it now, you're going to kick yourself on clue 5.
I know. I am. I know I am. Oh, Rock.
It is not Rock.
Oh, damn.
Right.
I guess he doesn't really have a debt.
No.
But he is a parent and he does have strange powers.
Yes.
And does work under a pseudonym. So there.
But don't forget. Right. Okay. Clue 5. This character is from the Dromonad system.
Oh no. Oh no, no wonder I don't know who these people are. Oh no.
Oh no, have you not read
I guess it's 6 of the Dusk, right? That's the only character I know in that. I don't know any other character in there. I don't remember anyone in that story. It was all very unmemorable to me, personally.
Wait, hold up. I think I may have messed up here. One second.
Oh, great. We're going to have to redo this whole thing.
Sorry, yes, I completely messed up. Right.
All right. Okay.
Hey. Ignore that, people. This character is from the Threnody system.
Okay. All right. So... Right, okay, alright, so you were just completely wrong. You're not editing that out.
Okay, I'll leave that flub in. Yeah, that's fine.
Great. Thank you very much.
Come on,
well, Nate. I mean, it's gotta be Silence Montaigne, right?
It's Silence. It's gotta
be Silence Montaigne.
Woo! The counselor is Silence Montaigne, who worked under the pseudonym White Fox as a bounty hunter and was rumored to have strange powers.
That's right.
Yes, to work off her debt for her pub.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's been a really long time. I haven't read that since, God, when did that come out? 2012? No.
Oh, is it that long?
I don't remember. It came out in 2013. So
Yeah. It's been a few years.
I definitely read it in 2012, so...
Listeners at home.
All right. That was a good one. That was a good one. I will give you guys a spoiler that when Ben gave me some Who's That Cosmere characters for our White Sand Volume 2 podcast.
Yeah.
They went much better than the inaugural episode where they did not go well.
I actually fact-checked my clues that one.
Also, it does help when you get the correct system on that. So, well done.
Yep.
Well done, A+.
If you managed to get that before, Eric, leave a comment down below. If you managed to get that when I said Dromonad, well done. Let me know what you came up with.
Comment below if you got the correct answer for the incorrect clues. Good work. Well done. No, seriously, I don't remember the characters.
Do you not?
6 of the Dusk. I know there was...
6th of Dusk.
There was his 2 AVR.
Yeah.
And then there was the other one.
There was a woman. There was a woman in there who had friends.
There was a woman.
And the
no, she was one of the ones above, right? No, she wasn't one of the ones above.
She was a Dramadian. I don't know. A Dramadian?
But interacted with the ones above.
Yeah, she interacted with the ones above. But yeah, I think there was actually only those two characters in like the whole book. Was the end of it?
Thrilling. Yeah. It was a great.
It was good.
I love it.
Cool. I think we'll just do that.
But no, it wasn't. It wasn't good. But if you guys like it in the comments,
did you not think it was very good? I liked it.
Cool. I'm glad.
God, this podcast is going on for way too long to get into a conversation about First of the Sun.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
We have talked a lot about First of the Sun.
Yeah.
But guys, if you had an opinion and one of us don't agree with it, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
That's completely fine. If you went to say, I didn't like Oathbringer and I liked Way of Kings better, which I've seen that opinion gone on, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm secure enough in my opinions to, like what I like. And you're secure enough in your opinions to know what you like.
Yeah.
And we're not here to change your mind. We're here to get confused about what Patji is. Yeah. That's what we're here for. And to give you the news.
Yes.
And we're going to get confused about Patji together.
Because Patji's confusing.
It is very confusing. So, we will see you all next time for more Emerald City Comic-Con WoBs with American Jebus.
Yes.
Here. American Jebus, that's
it doesn't
an album
feel.
name. That's an album name. American Jebus.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Cool.
That would be another video if we had the skill to video edit.
I don't want to be an American Jebus. I'm going to stop now.
All right. Hey guys.
Hi everyone.
we thought we were done recording this podcast for tonight. Brandon decided the answer to that was no, because we're putting this in because as we finished getting very confused from Patji, Brandon responds to our Reddit thread answering our questions about Patji.
And so, ooh boy, is a good one.
So we're putting this in at the end because we realized it, because now if you listen to this whole podcast, you'll get the question and the answer, which is usually not how this works in this fandom. So that's nice.
Without having to wait like 40 minutes for the WoBs that you came here for.
All right. So clearly, Ben, you need to read the long one from Oversleep. So Oversleep says...
Yeah.
So the investiture on First of the Sun is associated with a shard or its residue, normal investiture from Aiden Alcyon.
So Brandon replied, "The reason I have so much trouble answering these questions, and you'll see me struggling to get an answer in the 10-15 seconds I have when someone asks me in the signing line, is because this isn't an either or. Is this computer I'm using matter associated with the Earth, the Big Bang, or such and such star that went supernova long ago? Well, it's probably all three. When people ask, what shard is this investiture associated with, it gets very complicated. Shards influence and tweak certain investiture, giving it a kind of spin or magnetism, but all investiture ever predates the shattering, and in the cosmere, matter, energy, and investiture are one thing. I always imagine investiture having certain states, certain magnetisms, if you will, associated with certain aspects of Adonasium. So it's all
Why do you do this?
assigned to a shard, and that signed is in quotes, because it's always been associated with that shard. To investiture, Adonasium shattering meant everything and nothing at the same time. We generally mean the term invested, in quotes, to mean a shard has taken permanent residence in a location, a kind of base of operations. But at the same time, this is meaningless, since distance has no meaning on the spiritual realm, where most shards are. So imprisonment of a shard like Ruin or Odium is a crude expression. It's the best we have. Autonomy never invested, and that's in quotes again, on First of the Sun. But even answering, as someone else asked, if they created an avatar without visiting is a difficult thing to explain. That's actually a WoB, I think, from the Oathbringer signing. Because even explaining how a shard travels when motion is irrelevant is difficult to manage. It's a subject that I intend to be up for debate, discussion, and argument by in-world philosophers and arcanists. You see why I have trouble explaining these things at signings, and why I fail to try when I try to, considering the time limitations and offer fatigue limitations placed upon me.
That's true. He does have mega long signings. That get on hour 4. Yeah, yes. You're not going to phrase it correctly.
Yeah. These concepts I intend to spend entire lengthy epic volumes exploring and explaining. Let's say you are autonomy, and you have, through expanding and exploring your understanding, found a gathering of investiture that has always been there, you always knew about, but still didn't actually recognize until the moment you considered and explored it. Because even though your power is infinite, accessing and using that infinity is beyond your reach. Were you invested there? No more than you're invested in Roshar, where parts of Adonasium still exist that are associated with you, in the very fabric of matter and existence. But suddenly you have a chance to tweak, influence, and do things that were always possible. But which you never thought you could, but which you never could do because you knew but didn't know at the same time. And I'm already way more into this than typing than I want to be typing this out right now. If it's confusing, it's because it's practically impossible for me to explain these things in a short span of time. I'm going to leave it here, understanding that no, I haven't fully explained your question. I didn't even get into what avatars are, what Patji is, what happened to Patji the being, and how that relates to Patji the island. And hopefully this is kind of starts to point the right direction, though I probably should have just left this question alone because I bet this post is going to raise more questions than it answers.
Okay, a few things. One, Brandon is awesome for he is spending time in his day in the evening just writing an essay on this stuff.
Yeah.
So this is amazing. Yeah. And we're only mocking the confusion from earlier because it was very confusing. Yeah. And everyone was confused.
Yes.
But 2, we totally nailed it with autonomy's taking that investiture and doing something with it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Nailed it.
It was kind of always there, even though she wasn't aware of it. And then, but then everyone's, it seems, is kind of always there. So it's
right.
Yeah.
Right. So she just shaped it a bit.
She just shaped the bits.
3, Avatar's the word. Boom. Take that, Ian. Yeah. Boom. Nailed it. Heme allergy jokes. Yeah. So I asked earlier, this was when we were panicking right before the podcast started, and all 3 of us are like, what?
What is happening?
What happened here? Well, the third one being Oversleep, who's an Arcanist.
Yeah.
And I asked, are you saying here that Patji is an avatar of autonomy, or is it a separate shard and not an avatar of autonomy? Brandon. When I said Patji was a shard, I was meaning autonomy.
Booyah!
But it is not quite that simple. Boom! Confirmation. Dead serious. Oh, concrete words of Brandon. Take this post to mean, no, you should not be looking towards another shard for Patji's origins. Autonomy is the one relevant. But autonomy's relationships with entities like this, not sure entity is the right word even, is complex. I'm not trying to confuse the issue, though. Well,
you kind of messed that one up.
Let's make some jokes about it confusing the issue. Yes. But we did get some great stuff. Also, I guess in that other quote that you just said, Brandon's just using Avatar because we're using Avatar.
I feel like he left yours before he left this one. No, he left the other one first, and then he left yours. Yeah.
Yeah, so mine's the last thing he said. So I don't know if avatar is the correct word because he's still entities, that's not the right one. We're using avatar, by the way, because in the second letter in Oathbringer, it mentions a new avatar of our being.
Yes.
So that's why we're using the word avatar. Ian does not like that word, so let's just say that there.
There's so much to talk about in this. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to begin.
I don't know. I think this really explains everything that's up.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the thing I want to talk about. The relationship between avatars, what Patji was, what happened to Patji the being. So we were totally right. That is there's the island, and then there's a being who is not the island.
The High Storm has a Storm Father. Patji has a Patji. Yeah!
I promise you, we are not recording this in advance because you can just go back. We are in the depths of despair and confusion. Just the most confusion. Nailed it.
Sorted.
So I guess there is a being called Patji.
Yeah.
So I guess we got to make a Patji article on the wiki.
Yep.
That's Patji the being.
Yep.
Who is an avatar and or entity aspect thing. And
which Brandon does consider the shard, because distance is irrelevant and the shards are in the spiritual realm, which is where shards are.
Right.
Yep.
So these avatars are connected in the spiritual realm, and that location doesn't matter, and so it's still the shard. Now, it's the asterisk because it's this weird avatar thing, and Autonomy has a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. Oh, yes. Whew. And Patji the being / the shard left at the time of the story of Six of the Dusk.
Yes.
Has to be, right?
Oh,
100%.
Yeah. So
So we're totally right.
Yeah, you were totally right. Yeah, so that's the only way I can really read into that, is if Brandon considers Patji the being to be the shard, because it is part of Autonomy. It's not even a part of it. It's like a limb. It is Autonomy. Then that must mean that being Patji must have left by the events of First of the Sun. Well, we keep calling it First of the Sun. The story's actually called Sixth of Dusk.
Whatever.
Everyone knows what we're on about.
It's fine. They already heard me complain about about the story itself. Yeah. That's fine. But that does beg the question: if that isn't still there, why is there still a perpendicularity there? That's a very good question.
Yes, right? I don't think magic would leave. But then unless it died, I guess can a avatar limb finger of a shark die?
Gotta go back to the original quote. We gotta go back to the original one. Well, I would expect that if there was this concentration. Well, wait. So this investiture is still Autonomy going there, messing with the Autonomy stuff that was there.
Yep.
That would be in any place, really.
Yes.
And adapting that and shaping that to an avatar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting here. And no shard was there during the events of the story.
So there
said that to you very explicitly. No shards were there during the events of the story, and he's using shard super liberally here.
Yeah.
Very liberally.
He also
he's
also capitalizing it and not capitalizing it inconsistently.
Look. Yes, but he is taking time out of his day to write essays on stuff that honestly he probably shouldn't even responded to this original thing in the first place. And we just get all the info. Yeah. We're just here. We got all the things. So here's the thing. He's probably using Shard, all these avatars being Autonomy, because I would imagine that there's so many avatars of these that there's not like a central nexus of it left.
Yes.
Okay, right? So if you think about it in that context, it is a shard, because like, how would you say that that's any different from any of these other avatars of Autonomy, right? There could still be a nexus. We don't know, and we don't know when that occurred. Listen to our White Sand Volume 2 podcast where we talk about Trell way too much, who's apparently a random frickin' craftsman on Taldane. It's a random craftsman. Our answer, by the way, no, I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
No, I'm not spoiling it. You gotta listen to that one. So it's not just us complaining about White Sand. So I think we basically case closed. We did it.
Yeah.
The perpendicularity is still a little weird. I don't think that Avatar died on First of the Sun.
Yeah. I've got one last thing as well before we wrap up.
All right.
So the paragraph, we generally mean the term invested means to create a base of operations. I had always been working on the assumption that what Autonomy has been doing means she has left Taldane by the point of the later events after White Sand, at some point after White Sand. But if she hasn't, and she is still invested there, and that is her base of operations, and she is still able to explore the universe, the cosmere, through the spiritual realm where distance is irrelevant, then I guess that means she doesn't have to have left Taldane. And so that's... she doesn't have to have left. Or
maybe.
Yeah.
Hold up. What if there is an avatar in the star in First of the Sun? The thing that is investing the sand, okay?
I think that is... I don't think that's an avatar. I think that's her base of operations. That is where she is invested, as Brandon has just put it. Because he's also just put, to mean, as Shard has taken up permanent residence in a location. And I don't think permanent is a strong word he's put there.
Well, that's because, there is evidence to suggest that as the more a shard invests in a place, the harder it is to leave.
Yeah.
Like, Ruin basically has to destroy Scadrial to leave.
Yeah.
Now, that is a little different because they created
the
planet. They created the planet, so, I mean, I would assume that other shards could eventually leave, right?
Yeah.
So we don't really know the non-Scadrian difficulty level of leaving a planet.
Yeah.
Probably difficult. But what if... No, see, it's easy, Ben.
Okay.
Here's what you do. Your autonomy,
Guys,
right?
Patji is easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
No, the Taldane part, not the
Taldane part, yeah.
Here's what you do. You break apart yourself in whatever you do to make an avatar, right?
Yeah.
You place that where that star is, right? And what you do is you make it so the connection that the investiture there is connected with that avatar, but not you. So then you just leave. So you just adjust the spirit webs a little bit and that connection to the avatar. And so you just manipulate that. Then you just leave.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Boom. And then you can just do whatever you want. And then you just split yourself off and make more and more of these until you have so many that you don't really have.
But then I think one of the points he's making is that there is no here for a shard. They are mostly in the spiritual realm. They can...
Oh, right, with the motion of a shard.
Like,
that's
emotion,
true.
Them leaving is more... is they don't physically go anywhere.
Well,
this one's really hard. This one is a hard one. I'm going to be reading this.
You're right. You're right. Shards moving is a gigantic can of worms.
Yeah.
And we will definitely do a podcast on it, okay?
Yeah.
we definitely have to. But, there is some aspect of location for shards.
Yeah.
And where their nexus and where their thoughts are,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so moving that, there is some motion there.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's as easy as just I am willing myself to this location, right? But obviously there is some aspect of travel there, like Odium visited Cell, right? That's the language that's used here, right?
Yeah.
It's visiting Cell. So
this is all just
a shard traveling is really weird. I imagine it would take a lot of practice to maybe manipulate the spiritual realm in that way.
Yeah.
Because maybe when you're ascended, you can just so much of you, your investiture's in the spiritual realm. That's where it is.
That's where it is,
That's where it all is, right? And moving it to the cognitive is hard, right? We see the reflections of that shard, at least Ruin. We saw Ruin in the Scadrian Shadesmar, the Scadrian cognitive realm. Sorry, Ian. He's not going to listen to this anyway. He would freak out if I said Scadrian Shadesmar. He would hate that.
I'm not a big fan of that cognitive either. Realm. Yeah.
Well, too bad. It's fine. We all know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So how a shard travels, we do see reflections of it in the cognitive realm. We didn't see honor and cultivation in the cognitive realm.
No.
But I imagine we could. Right?
Yeah.
Which is, it's so weird to think about Vin and Ruin's nexus. When they ascend.
I need to reread that climax of Hero of Ages now.
Here's the thing. It doesn't really feel like the spiritual realm.
No.
From what we saw with Odium, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that.
No, Vin is...
it really just feels like they're above the planet.
Yeah.
And they're in the sky. That's what it seems like, you know? That's what it feels like. But maybe that is kind of a spiritual...
I was going to say maybe they're so invested in Scadrial that because they're they're invested so heavily there, they're pulled into the physical realm, which is where Scadrial is, which is where they're invested.
That would be crazy, actually. That would be super weird.
That would be. And it would kind of
I'm just trying to think about that, but what it could also be is just a reflection of the spiritual realm. Like, well, I mean, everything's a reflection of the spiritual realm. But sorry, let me rephrase. Let's say they are in the spiritual realm, and they're seeing the planet through the spiritual realm, but because they're a shard, they don't notice it. Oh, this is super weird. We're in the spiritual realm. Whereas if you were a normal mortal mind, you'd your mind would just break, right?
Yeah, it's like Sazed when he Sazed when he is
you just got Sazed.
Oh yeah, he just got Sazed. And when he first takes up the shard, he's obviously shards. When he's still chilling out, he'll be like, "Hey, I'm floating above the sky. This is really cool." I'm like, as we saw Vin being like, "Oh, I can see everything as if I'm floating in the sky."
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden he starts like paying attention to these other things. He's starting to notice out the corner of his eye. He's like, "Oh, hey, look. Time and space is irrelevant in my peripheral vision."
Yeah, no. So literally all of like shard action. Yeah. Oh, fairy time.
Okay.
So far over. Whatever. Don't even care.
This is really long.
This is what Patji does. Guys. This is what Patji does. It's a lot of the town. It'll be great. It's difficult. The reason why shardic actions are difficult to like act at a distance is because you're manipulating stuff through the spiritual realm, right?
Yeah.
And that is inherently difficult to work with.
Yeah.
Maybe it's difficult to work with because it's all compacted into one.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, it's like you're trying to force a beam of light through a black hole to do something on the other side of it. That's hard to do. It doesn't make sense, right? I
get you.
So, like, expanding your mind to sense these things, Harmony can figure out the name Adenalcium because he is connected to that and everything is one in the spiritual realm, right?
Yes.
And so him learning about odium, he can also learn that through the spiritual realm, but that's hard to do and takes a lot of practice looking into that to see how all of those things are connected.
I've got a really... Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Go ahead.
I've got a really weird image in my head where it's kind of like... Imagine like some water, and you put your face in the water so you can see what's under the water, and that's the physical realm. But your body is in the spiritual realm, and all that taking up a shard does is just give you more arms to flail about with outside of the water. But you still got to be, your face is still under the water, so you can only really see what's under the water, and then you can kind of poke things in other parts of the water, but you're not really used to it just yet, and you've got to try and grow some more faces to poke under the water to know what you do.
This is so weird to think about because where a shard's nexus is super weird.
Yeah, the fact they need one apparently.
Well, yeah, because manifesting, you as a shard, manifesting is hard.
Yeah.
That's always been a thing that's super weird. You're a divine being. Why does that matter?
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter, really, because I'm going to build myself a body with rocks and I'll just move around. Like, why couldn't you just do that, right? But it makes sense that it would be more difficult if your power is in the spiritual.
Yes.
Your mind kind of transcends all three, right?
Yeah, it's kind of
investiture, perpendicularities are breaking through all three.
Yeah.
And so, like, all three of these realms are being one to you. And so it's super weird, like, where your mind, when you hold a shard is. Like, is that mind in the spiritual? Is it in the cognitive? Is it in the physical? I guess the answer is all three, and we have no idea. That's the real answer,
I'm just thinking now, but what if can a shard just retreat entirely into the spiritual realm? For example...
I would say no, because the answer is no.
Okay.
Because, no.
Okay.
No.
I thought you were going to say something really interesting there. It's so hard to think about. We're thinking about these things for almost like the first time, really. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, anything new we get about shards is like mind blowing.
Yeah,
guys,
this is like 4 big things.
I am terrified rewriting the shard article because it is so out of date, but I don't know how to actually write it because I'm not Brandon. I don't know how to do that. I wrote the shard article in 2011. I don't know how to rewrite it now because I'm just getting more confused as we go along with like, where is a shard? I don't have an answer for you. But no, a shard can't retreat into the spiritual because the investiture that is Adonalsium permeates through the entire Cosmere.
You're right.
So you can never go to the spiritual because Adonalsium's investiture is all across the Cosmere.
Yeah.
So you could never do that.
You essentially are. Yeah, you are in the spiritual realm and the physical realm. You just are. Like, you can't.
You are. Right, you are. So, when you have... there is this other aspect as if a shard... Like, if Sazed didn't grab those shards, something bad would have happened without the release valves, right? And no, there's words of Brandon that say that it would be bad. And it was very good that Kelsier was there to hold it, because it would have been very bad.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
The implication there, I'd have to relook at that, but that it would, like, kind of break apart if it didn't have, like, a mind to be there?
Yeah.
Right. Now, it wouldn't happen like Cell, because Cell's investiture was specifically forced into the cognitive, which, if you think about it in this context, is like the most freaking insane thing.
Yeah.
You're moving investiture from the spiritual to the cognitive. Let's just think about how crazy that is for a second.
I am just thinking about that now, and it's essentially like pulling, like, essentially a giant corpse from the existence of reality and just... It's
not even a corpse. You're taking two aspects of infinity, these infinite things that are permeate through the entire Cosmere, but those concepts are one in the spiritual.
Yeah.
And you're... Whoa.
He would have pushed it out of the spiritual and put the spiritual stuff in there. I don't imagine he pulled...
Wait.
What? What?
We're just... Whatever. Doesn't matter. Welcome to Shardcast, where we're just...
When you guys...
We're talking about shards.
Yeah.
We are talking about shards on Shardcast. That's what we're doing.
You guys, listeners at home, you guys celebrate when you see Shardcast named just Shards, because this is going to be this... I don't know what we're going to name this podcast.
No. I want to finish one thought. Then we'll stop talking.
Okay.
Because... Think about devotion.
Okay.
That concept. That concept is distributed through the entire Cosmere.
Yes.
All of Adonalsium's investiture has been split into these 16 things, but really, like, it was like a soup, right?
Yeah.
And the soup had these 16 parts. And so that's why Brandon's
we've had soup, we've had Lego, we've had...
I know. But, like Brandon said, Adonalsium Shattered meant everything and nothing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. That devotion, that part of you, he said your power is infinite, but accessing that infinity was beyond your reach. That power is connected through the spiritual realm. Right?
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
So your devotion. Think about that power that's devotion.
Yeah.
All of that power used to reside in the spiritual realm.
Yes.
But now it doesn't.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for the parts of devotion that are like in random star that is like first to the sun, that has this part of devotion that's still connected to the spiritual realm? Is that connection weaker? Is there still a reflection of that investiture in the spiritual?
Oh, I get what you mean. Is it like kind of a little dull? It's not... All other investiture is like, it's like fresh matter, energy. It's all like, it's all fresh as at your beck and call.
It's
I can pick up a ball
in the spiritual.
Throw it. But like, yeah, things that would be associated with dominion and devotion.
It's different,
Would it be difficult?
Super different.
Yeah. Like, would it be difficult for someone who can manipulate investiture to manipulate that investiture? Well, it's not on Cell. But cell's obviously where it is in the cognitive
realm.
realm.
Well, it's difficult because the location matters, and that's how you key into the door.
Yeah.
Right? But, like...
and that's...
thinking about, like...
This is making a lot of sense.
If Odium's plan is to become the only shard, the only god, right? That's his plan. Then what's happening is that, like, these other parts of devotion, like, is he just, like, breaking Adonalsium itself by removing that from the spiritual realm?
Maybe.
I feel like that should matter, though.
Yeah.
It obviously does. It's catastrophically bad to Cell.
Don't forget
in the cognitive.
that he only did that on Cell because that was his first kills, and he didn't really know what he was doing.
Actual kill.
So I don't think he on purposely did that, and I don't think whatever result we get from what he did on Cell is what he's intending.
I don't know. Okay.
Because he didn't do that with Uladar.
Ambition.
Yeah.
Well,
Uladar
don't know that.
Uladdar's
we don't know that.
Thing.
We don't know that because Uladar didn't die on Threnody, died somewhere else, was wounded on Threnody, went somewhere else, Shardic movement, whatever that means, right? So how would you accidentally move? All right. How would you accidentally move this power of creation? Okay.
Yeah.
The power of creation. 2 of the 16 flavors, the 16 ice cream flavors. Add another one. To our Lego blocks.
I like stained glass window. That's
our stained glass window, our shards.
Exactly, that's why I like it.
Branding,
the picture on our website is a shard of glass. So how have you never made this connection before?
Right. No, I know that. No, obviously.
Yeah,
but I'm hungry. Okay, I'm hungry. That's the answer, right? How would you accidentally remove something from the spiritual realm where all things are one?
Well, maybe the way he
sounds like that's hard to do.
Well, killing a shard is hard to do, and Odium had no idea what he was doing. So I don't
know about that. He had no idea what he was doing.
If I push someone off a balcony and they land in the pool instead of on the concrete, I'm sorry. I watched a TV show the other day when that happened, and
surprisingly violent. This podcast rated R.
And I wouldn't be like, someone would be like, "Wow, what did he mean by pushing them into the pool?" I'd just be like, "Well, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just accidentally pushed him into the pool. I just wanted them to hit the ground."
All I'm saying is, I think the action of pushing the power out of the spiritual realm into the cognitive is a non-trivial thing.
I absolutely, its effects is non-trivial, but in my opinion, it was not his intended effect.
Okay. Well, what if it's this?
Okay.
What if it's this? What if the method that he used to kill them on Cell was he was pushing that power out of the spiritual where it would be more easy to attack them in the cognitive, and he killed them in the cognitive.
That sounds like it would be really easy to do with every other shard. That's my only issue there.
But maybe it was too taxing for him to act. Maybe that was his theory, but maybe like the way he was acting through the spiritual was way too hard, and it really hurt him. And the devotion and dominion
whatever being hurt is for
wasn't expecting that kind of attack through the spiritual.
Yeah.
Because as we know, those Shardic battles happen through all 3 realms. From the Threnody thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe that attack mostly occurred in the spiritual, and he's trying to do this pushing to try and shove it through to the cognitive. And maybe he succeeded. Maybe that action really wounded devotion and dominion. They weren't expecting it. He killed them. But then Odium was like, holy crap. Doing that through the spiritual was really difficult. And because other shards are connected through all things, although maybe that would be difficult. Maybe that would be more difficult to sense devotion and dominion's death because that power is no longer in the spiritual realm, which is like a crazy thing to think about if you think about it.
The absence of that power. And so maybe they're a bit more wary about, hey guys, don't get pushed out of here because...
And then you're like, I gotta figure out like more how to act through the spiritual, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you could sense its absence. That's got to be important, though, right? It having a part of this power of creation not be in the spiritual anymore.
Yes.
I doubt it's all of it. It's not all of devotion.
No. He's never implied it's all of of dominion and devotion.
But like maybe it's like a chunk.
Yeah.
Like your skull.
Like a non-significant amount, yeah.
So going with your water analogy.
Yeah.
Right? I grabbed your skull. This is very violent. Okay. I grabbed your skull, ripped your brain out, dumped it in the water.
Hey, guess.
And then I shot the brain. Then I shot the brain. And then I killed you in the cognitive.
Do you remember when Brandon said that the killing of devotion and dominion was like a beheading?
You know what, Ben? I think that is a wonderful time to end this podcast.
100%.
That has gone on
way
too long. Welcome to Shardcast. When we talk about shards, we will talk about the minutia.
Yep.
Be confused and get into it. I think this is the first time we're like, we're talking about the shards.
It's shard time. It's the Shardcast this time, guys.
Yeah. But in that case,
now
for realsies, we will let you go. Do feel free to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope your mind is blown. I know many people have commented, I don't know what you're talking about because I'm out of the loop. And now I feel like we've kind of gotten a little bit into the spiritual realm somehow, right?
Yeah.
But we will see you all next time where we will actually talk about Emerald City Comic Con, Words of Brandon.
Yes.
Which I'm just going to put out there, weren't as interesting as Brandon talking about this. Just saying.
Yeah. Bye.
Call.
When the rhythm starts to play, hold me close, kiss me there. Done.